Take one? Okay, we're good. We're good. Dude, welcome to the pod.
Yeah.
Conversations with DJs, 130 people know. Thanks for coming. I know it was like kind of last minute and you drove from Arizona. But dude, my first question is, who are you? Right? I mean, nobody really knew of you before playing with Tyra. Just some random lefty Asian from Arizona. Dude, tell me more about you.
That's all you got to know, really.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, thanks so much for having me on the pod, DJ. Really appreciate it. My name is Augie. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised, and then played tennis my whole life. Also swam competitively until I was 11, but then obviously I chose to play tennis. Played college tennis at the University of New Mexico and then transferred to the University of Arizona. Loved playing college tennis, but it was quite tough, honestly. Got a little burnt out. Went to grad school, and then during grad school, I played table tennis as well, like pretty competitively. And that was fun. I was like pretty mediocre, but we had some studs on our team who like grew up playing like national championships in table tennis. So it was good to like be around that level and kind of get like the proper technique and be exposed to true table tennis. And then after grad school, moved back to Arizona, and I saw some of my buddies were doing really well in pro pickleball. Like I grew up playing tennis with Hunter and Yates Johnson.
Yeah.
So shout out to the twins. And then our buddy as well in the Southwest section, Nico Montoya. He's from Arizona. So he was like my first high level rec game. And I don't know, just kind of went from there. So it's like I started pickleball like September, October 2022, but it's kind of an asterisk because like right away I was getting pretty solid play and just started playing like 4 or 5 times a week. So I got super lucky, and now here we are doing it full time, playing pro pickleball, having a blast.
Yeah, dude, congratulations. And
Thanks.
yeah, dude, I think when people start playing pickleball, right, and if you have a solid tennis background, especially maybe ping pong, it really makes a big difference, where you're starting, right? Like if you're in Arizona, if you're in, like you were, if you're in Florida, it's just so much bigger there than like it might be in New Mexico.
Yeah.
That those people tend to go for it more than, people that are just not in those places because the level is higher. You understand that like, maybe J-Dub's making money out of it. You're like, oh, like, maybe I could be like J-Dub, right? Or something like that. I'm talking pickleball skill level wise, not personality wise. J-Dub, we love you, but gotta work on that. But yeah, I think obviously being in Arizona probably helped you a lot. I guess the follow up question to that would be who do you start playing with when you started playing pickleball in Arizona?
Yeah, no, it helped a ton, especially because in Arizona, like, it's not quite like maybe Austin where you've got like a lot of the top pros who probably wouldn't want to play with someone who's just starting as like a 4-0 when the very first time they pick up a paddle.
Yeah.
So yeah, some guys who I started playing with, Nico, as I said, Ryan Eveloff and Danny Jensen. So that was my first like high level rec game, and just got my ass beat. Danny was like cooking me on some off the bounce speed ups, and we talked about it recently, so he remembers for sure. That was the last time he beat me, though.
The funny thing about Danny, people who don't know Danny, is in this specific scenario, he's actually not a speed up guy.
No,
like he doesn't even speed up. So the fact that he was eating you up with speed ups, it's a little ironic.
For sure. He's definitely a consistent dinker, but I mean, when he plays guys who he's better than, he'll go for some random stuff, and it'll work apparently.
Yeah.
And then got to play a game with Craig Johnson relatively early on, and he was just a level above everyone. But like, there's a good group of like 5'5" guys. I'll shout a few of them out, like Alex Harrison and Jack Marsh. We play at their houses a lot. That's their only redeeming quality. No, love
Shout
those
out
guys.
Little Beef.
Yeah, love those guys. And then, just the group. Like Pessa, got games with him sometimes after I got good enough. So yeah, it's an awesome squad out there. Love Arizona.
Yeah, it is great. And for me personally, Chris Headings was, the one that I kind of started being friends with a long time ago. I love my dad. My dad's awesome. role model. But Chris also was one of those guys that's, trying to be a father figure. All his family loves him, which, says a lot about him. Great guy. And he's always like trying to help me with everything that I can. But the Arizona crew is awesome, dude. I mean, Chris Headings, Craig, now we got to know each other a little bit now. There's other people out there, obviously Caden, Vic. I don't know if you met Vic back in the day or not.
I played some rec with Vic before he moved out here.
Yeah.
Awesome dude and sick rec player, like sick player in general.
Yeah, he is. People don't know, but dude, he is good.
He was stupid good in rec. Oh my gosh.
And I'm actually trying. I've been recently trying. I know he's working a lot, but I'm trying to get him out more often because I actually think if he was to play, I know he's never going to try to go pro and all this stuff as good as he is, but I'm personally trying to get him out once, twice a week if I can, whether it's drilling or some games, because I know that after Hayden, Callan, and I, he would be just the best fourth.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is, right? Super talented, super nice guy. And, just fortunate enough for me, he's, living here now. But, yeah, dude, how has your life been ever since you dropped Craig?
Oh, it's been unreal. Like, the best it's ever been. It was in a dark spot when I was playing with Craig. He's not a great partner at all. Tough to play with, tough to communicate with.
Yeah, I get it.
But Craig's awesome. Shout out to him. He was like definitely probably the best player in Arizona at the time, so it was awesome to get to play with him. When I was he still is. Yeah. It was awesome to get to play with him when I was kind of making my rise, and we had that one like breakthrough win in Vegas against Callan and Jay, and that kind of like validated that maybe Craig and I were like good enough to play at a high pro level. And then we played the first 3 tournaments of this year, 2024, together, and collected a couple more good wins. So it was awesome to play with him. And he brought me here for sure. So awesome dude.
Dude, Craig is one of those guys. Like when people are like overly too nice. Yeah. And you're like, is this person really that nice?
Dude, I did not trust him. Like at first, when I first met him, like I was like, there's no way this guy's being genuine at all. But then it just like, it doesn't stop. He's just like that the entire time. You're like, well, he's harmless and he's being nice to me, so maybe he is a good guy.
Dude, 100%. and that's like the most amazing quality about him, right? Because like most of us, I mean, really everyone, like we all can put on this mask for about like 3 or 4 months, whatever, this and this. And then at some point the mask comes off a little bit, you start talking a little bit of shit, and all this stuff. Dude, like to this day, like then again, I didn't trust Craig either when I met him. But dude, like it just never stops. Like that's just how Craig is. And he's like one of the most unbelievable humans there is. I love Craig. I actually, you're going to be there with us in St. George, but we're going to be sharing a Airbnb all together. So we're going to get to go to some dinners. Are you decently like private to yourself? Do you like eat your own Chipotle in your room, or are you going to come out with dinner with us? Like what are...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll come out to dinner with the boys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I live for. Yeah. That's like half the fun of pro pickleball is just like chopping it up after like I don't know, a mixed doubles day where like something crazy happens and you got to break it all down.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly looking forward to that Airbnb in St. George.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up buying some board games on Amazon. I don't know if it's like Liar's Dice or Poker's Dice or whatever it is, but dude, it's really fun. If you haven't played or if you know what it is, you soon will. But we're gonna be playing some of that for sure. Is Caden staying with us too?
I'm not sure. He might be. I hope he is.
So. I hope so too. Because I think there's one room left.
Okay.
And maybe it's Caden. I know Eker's gonna stay with us and stay in the bunk beds with me.
Perfect.
No, but I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, dude. So you had a couple really good wins. Obviously, Jay and Callan. You had Zane and Christian.
Yeah.
And what was your third one? There was one more in there somewhere.
And then in Desert Ridge, we beat Tyler and Todd.
Okay.
So that was
a
strong
good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was Gene Craig.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know yet, we love Craig. He's like the best guy ever.
In case you didn't gather that yet.
Yeah, in case you didn't get that yet. And one thing that I'm curious about, right, is obviously he kind of brings you to the game, probably coaches you a little bit, helps you out.
Yes.
And then you get to this point where you're just too good to play with him, right? A tournament, speaking, obviously for practice and everything. But Craig is really good. You've gotten really, really good. how does the breakup go about with somebody like Craig? Because he's probably fine with it, right?
Yeah. No, he's yeah, he was very fine with it, and like I guess he might have seen a lot of potential in me like very early on. He was always saying like, "Oh, I got to steal you for a tournament before you like go to the moon or whatever." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, okay, Craig, whatever. Just I'm just making sure you don't drop me for this tournament, you
Yeah.
know?" So, it was like we had just planned the first 3 tournaments of 2024 together,
Yeah.
and then we didn't really plan anything after that. And then I got a few asks from like some players who might be considered better players than him, and
Considers the keyword right there
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
So it's tricky because like I do get to practice with Craig a lot, and like our games mesh really well together.
Yeah.
But for the sake of like getting like more exposure and just getting to play with players who have that high of a caliber and kind of getting that experience, I think it was a necessary kind of temporary break from
Yeah,
Craig.
no, for
But
sure.
yeah,
And you can always get back together and try it
yeah,
out again or whatever, right? I
exactly.
mean, Craig is one of those players that has always been pretty good, and he gets like some wins here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the inconsistency in partners, makes it a little bit tough.
For
It's
sure.
also hard to always like, for everybody, not for just you guys or just me. It's hard to consistently do well, right? Like for
Yeah.
anybody,
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing I guess is for me, like when I see you play, and obviously you're a lefty, which in my opinion is just like another added bonus, just like how good you are. It's hard to find a left side player that's still gonna give you the same amount of court that you would with somebody like Craig. That's like, hey, bro, I know I'm on the left, but you're the alpha. So how do you navigate those partnerships, right? Because most people that play the left, it have a hard time giving, have a hard time putting away the egotistical ego side of things and be like, hey, I think I should let Augie take this middle ball.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. First and foremost, I think I do evaluate like some left siders like play style. Honestly, like if they just tend to be big all the time, then I kind of maybe am not as willing to give it a try with them just because they might tend to play like that while we play. Whereas I feel like if you're a lefty righty combo, then like a more like 50-50 like overall is kind of the most optimal.
Yeah, I call it a 51-49, just
Yes.
depending on the angles and the mathematical.
Yeah. Any given time is a little bit more one way or the other. So that's what I kind of look for. But obviously, if there's some like great left side player who tends to play big, like I'm open to play with them. But so then I looked at like, I mean, Zhao Ming, like for instance, he's a left side player, but he doesn't take a whole lot of court.
Yeah.
Partly because he's small. But,
At 5'2".
yeah, but also just that's kind of his play style. He worries about like his side of the court, and then he can be super dynamic and fly onto my side for poaches. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I've tended to go. And also, I just until now haven't had as many options really for like a good left side player who does play big. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and so right now, obviously, like I think your stock is really high, and I've seen you play with practice a little bit recently in Arizona, and I mean, you're just unbelievable. And the most interesting thing to me that people like what people don't understand about your game when I talk to like the amateurs and stuff is that you actually never miss. Right, like they might say, like, "Oh, he's a lefty, closest forehand middle, and blah blah blah. He drives well, best poacher in the game." You never miss. And that's really what it comes down to, right? It's like you're just so consistent, but you're a consistent right-sided lefty forehand in the middle player, but you can also get aggressive. So I know it's a little bit difficult, but at that point, like you're kind of a unique, just player, right? Because you don't have anyone on the left really that plays as much court as you do, and is willing to maybe not play as much. But what is it that you really look for in a partnership and at that point, right? Because you need them to be really good and communicative, but your style of play it's really good, but also very unique.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, ultimately, what it comes down to is like this is gonna sound so corny or cliche, but like, is this player like a dog? Like, does this player like win?
Yeah.
Like, is this player a winner? and that's really what I'm looking for. And then like the game stuff will come later. But for instance, like there's some players who might play big, honestly, because of like a little bit of insecurity on it. Like if they play big, but they're not necessarily winning, like they know they have to like change something about the way that they play. But since they're like this big left side guy, they have to take a lot of court, and then it ends up like they kind of shoot themselves out of the game. So I've always made sure to not shoot our team out of the game. And I think that also stems from me kind of being not as good as like a lot of the players that I played with when I was coming up, because I was already getting high level play when I first started. So that was like always one of my big priorities. It's just to always be able to keep the ball in play and not miss.
That goes a long way.
Yeah, I think so, for sure, especially as a right-sided player. But I mean, when we played those rec games, you were cooking me on the right side cross court. So that, I don't know, I was missing a lot that you're making me miss.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, right? Like, I have myself, right? Like, I have a very unique, like, play as well. I'm a unique player. I do certain things very differently than other people. But, you know, matchups matter too, right? So, obviously, me playing the right and I have Connor next to me, which, I mean, Connor's been playing so incredibly well lately. Like, I just have so much more room for error than you do, right? As good as Craig is, I mean, Connor is just on a different level than most people right now. And so that just frees me up to be like, okay, if I miss a shot, probably shouldn't. That said, Connor will probably make up for it at some point, right? But no, that's a good answer. You basically want someone that's just going to fight with you, whether you're up 11-2, 10-0, whether you're down 11-2, 10-0, and then everything else after that can click. So we can all attest that, you know, sorry, Craig, you might just not be a dog.
He's got it in him.
Yeah.
It just comes out here and there.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. I mean, he's a gamer, right?
Yes.
And I've played Craig enough, you know, to the point that I know, and we text enough and stuff. He wants it. He's just a family man.
He is.
You know?
I mean, that's another thing. Running like a huge business, and he's got 2 beautiful kids to take care of.
Yeah,
so.
Priorities are different. Yeah, priorities are different.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your paddle. Dude, I remember back, I don't even know if it was you or not, but when all the paddle stuff was going on, VLAMs and blah, 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 you might have had a little back and forth with Ben. Was that true? Was that you, or was it not you?
Ooh, no, that wasn't me.
Who was it?
Can't remember, but it was like, I did use that paddle that he was talking about, which was like the Legacy Pro.
Okay. Didn't Vatic say something too? Because you're with Vatic.
Yes, Vatic said something.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
So I think Vatic and Legacy were like the first 2 to really like start thermoforming, and then obviously the first 2 to start experiencing like delamination.
Yeah.
And it was a wild time in pro pickleball. And I used the Legacy Pro for a little bit. But yeah, no, now I just use the Vatic Prism V7 short handle. So for anyone who asks about my paddle.
You have a discount code?
I do, yeah, AGE.
There you go.
But it's a non-thermoformed, which I feel like is maybe a little rare in today's game, just because it's a little less poppy. But I just really love the control, and like it is very responsive as well. So I know whenever I like kind of mishit a ball or I make an error, I know exactly why I made that error.
Yeah.
And I also like the non-insanely poppiness, because like sometimes like everyone, like I'll get tight and like I want to be able to like swing out on a return, because I can't like guide anything right now. I have to just full swing on something.
Mm-hmm.
And if I swing out with this paddle, like there's not enough power to where it like will go out most of the time. So
yeah.
I love it.
You can also generate most of the power on your own, right? So you'd rather have something, and I agree with this. I recently went back to the thick paddle. Is that like at the end of the day, you want it to be on you more than on anything else, whether you win or lose, right? So making sure that you have equipment that makes that possible goes a long way, right? Because if you have a put away or someone goes middle and then you're really good at closing, you close middle, but the paddle's so poppy and it goes out, it's pointless if you're different middle, right? Yeah. So you want something that's going to work with you, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you value more a poppy, I guess, like from a spin and power standpoint, it sounds you like to spin more.
I love the
actually.
spin.
Yeah.
Love the spin, love the control.
Yeah.
So like something that's gritty with like a lot of dwell time, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, because if you have if the paddle has a lot of dwell time, you go from like 38 grit to like 70.
Yeah.
And the app paddle is actually not even 70.
Exactly.
Yeah, it goes a long way for sure. Dude, I feel like I heard a couple people like they call you the smartest guy in pickleball.
Do they say that?
Dude, I've heard that before. And honestly, like I'm reading here, you are a degree in mathematics.
Yeah.
And you finished your master in biostatistics.
That's correct.
I know nothing about college, but that sounds really fucking smart to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a non-traditional path from like what most student athletes take. But yeah, I'm definitely not the smartest man at pickleball.
What do you think that is?
It's probably someone like that or something like that.
Do you feel like
Wright also seems very smart.
Interesting. I mean, I've no offense to Anna Wright. I'd probably take Ben over Anna. I think Ben is a genius when it comes to pickleball. And I actually watch a couple or one of his pods, and the way he articulates and explains things and talks, like it's fucking really high up there.
Yeah, that's like a big part of intelligence overall, and like I sometimes tend to struggle like with articulation. So
yeah,
yeah,
you're probably more of a like you understand everything, and you maybe have a little slightly harder time like putting the information out there.
Yeah, I would say that.
But that's also a sign of being really smart too. Like look, I'm really smart. I don't know if you're gonna understand this, so I don't know how to explain it to you.
I don't know, maybe, or maybe I've just maxed out my sliders and the understanding and conceptual part, and all the way down on the articulation.
That's awesome. I overheard a little bit about your training. I don't want to ask you too much. I don't want to copy other pods. I understand you do a lot of weird things out there.
Yeah, a little different.
But what outside of that, like what does someone like you really actually do off the court, right? Do you diet? Do you really go and drill? Like do you rather play over drill? Do you drill over play?
Yeah.
You don't have to get down into the, AI, whatever you do. It's all good.
So I probably drill to play like 50-50, about even there. And actually, Caden, Pessa, and I will drill like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning. So we'll do sometimes 3-man, sometimes we'll get a 4th. And before that, we'll go to the gym. So gym at 8 a.m. and then drill from 9:30 to 11 or so.
The fact that you have a crew to do that with, it's insane.
It's so fun. Yeah. And we do like a lot of like knees over toes types of workouts, if you've heard of that.
Nope.
Yeah, so we do like the biggest philosophy in knees over toes as opposed to like traditional like weightlifting is like when you do legs, like they emphasize like putting your knees over your toes, whereas like maybe you grew up traditionally and they said to like not let your knee go past your toes when you're doing like squats or something because it puts unnecessary stress on your knee.
Yeah.
But in reality, like they've done some studies and it's actually quite the opposite. Like that actually helps you like build the tendons in your knee to like give you strength to like prevent injury and whatnot. And then another big philosophy is like a lot of modern athletes in like very explosive sports, like they kind of overload like the glute, so that will tend to lead to like
and hamstrings.
Yes, and that leads to like ACL, MCL tears, which have like gone on, like which have risen a lot in like the past 15, 20 years or so in like the NFL, NBA. So that's a big thing, just to always balance out like what you're doing like as a push, like you're making sure you're pulling as well.
Yeah.
So that's my workout philosophy. We don't go too hard or anything, nothing like super heavy weight.
Yeah.
And we just do that 3 times a week.
Interesting.
Half drill, half play rec.
Just for the viewers out there, and I think I understand what you're saying, like knees over toes, but if you're somebody that has extremely tight ankles or the front of your ankle doesn't have as much mobility as it should, you're not saying squat with your toes, right? Like that's not what you're saying at all. You're basically saying use the mobility of your ankles to, while you're still flat-footed, to push and drive your knees forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's like progressions for it as well. So like most people, if you haven't done it, you can't really get all the way down with your full foot on the ground, like you said. So like you'll start from like a front foot elevated split squat or something like that, and then work your way down.
All right, boys. Well, we had some technical issues. I am so sorry. We're back and better. But yeah, kind of where we were going with it is, dude, what were your expectations coming into the MLP draft this year?
Yeah. Honestly, going into it, like I had heard I'd been in conversations with a couple GMs on the Premier side and a couple on the Challenger side. So really, it was 50-50 going into it. And my chances kind of dwindled a little more when the Johnson 5 kind of came in at the last minute. But I was definitely glued to my phone the night of the Premier draft. And I don't know. I was very fortunate to be selected by Dallas, but yeah, just anything could have happened that night. So
Yeah, the most interesting thing, as good as you are, I've never seen you play singles.
yeah,
So people are really high on you, right? And
Uh-huh.
having a tennis background goes a long way. It helps you in singles. Do you ever practice singles? Do you care about singles? Are you going to start practicing singles?
I practice singles probably an average of once a week.
2 minutes
Yeah,
a day.
yeah, 2 minutes a day, like half a game after a full rec session. But I do enjoy like the movement in singles. I know it's like pretty dynamic and like the movement is a lot more violent in pickleball singles than it was in tennis. So that's taken some getting used to. But there's some footage of me playing singles on YouTube, especially from like Tuesday Night Pickleball. We went to Dream Breakers, so shout out to the Orchard there. Um, and yeah, I like to play it. Oh, you can also catch me in singles action this week at the Los Cab.
No way. Stop it.
Yeah, I'm playing in 2 days. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to watching you play. We talked about the bonus added of being a lefty, right? You get a lot of different angles and stuff. What did winning that championship with the Orchard like mean to you, dude? I mean, I know you're really good friends with Craig. We brought Craig up a bunch this pod. If we happen to catch it, and we love that guy, golly. But what did it mean to you?
It meant a lot, really. Like, I loved our team. And the thing is, like, from the beginning, we had a feeling like maybe they messed up and, like, we were just obviously the best team on paper. But, like, to go in and, like, prove it week in, week out was definitely not an easy task. So we took it quite seriously, maybe as serious as any other team took it. We practiced together as much as we could, especially when Ariel Butler was in town. So we'd get like, a day or two of mixed practice in before the matches every Tuesday night. So that helped a ton. And we really wanted to win, honestly. So that's the biggest reason why I meant so much, is because we thought we could win and we ended up doing it and executing.
Yeah, for the viewers and even for me, really, what's kind of like the pay breakdown like?
Yeah, the Orchard Jigsaw gives us $500 a night that we play, every night that we play. Yeah, no win bonus or anything like
Yeah, pretty chill though. I mean, especially if you're already in Arizona.
that. Yeah,
And I've been to the facility, 2 courts. I know they use one for sitting and stuff. But good courts. Is that Pickable still?
yes, it is
Yeah,
pickle roll.
but it plays pretty well. I don't think there's as many dead spots as someone would think. I think they do a great job with the rolls of the pickle rolls itself. Little shout out there. But I love the facility. I think the people there are great. I know they're either coming out or they already are out some episodes of Breaking Pickable.
Yes.
I watched a little bit and it looks really good.
Uh-huh.
I think they spent some money and some stuff out there to get some, quality production done. Were you in any of those episodes outside of like just, playing and stuff?
Yeah, I was not a focal point of any of the episodes, unfortunately. So it kind of covered season 1 of Tuesday Night Pickleball, and I wasn't good enough to be in season 1. So I was mostly a season 2 player. But no, Breaking Pickleball, huge shout out to the Orchard and Patrick and Ashley. They did an amazing job. There was like a premiere night and we watched all 6 episodes in one sitting at like the Scooby Theater in Scottsdale. And yeah, it's unreal.
That's
It's
awesome.
very good. If you're a pickleball fan, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, you get to see AJ Collar and security guard out there too. I mean, you get all of it, man.
You get it all.
Yeah. how does the drafting work for that? So obviously, MLP, blah blah blah, we get it, but it seems like from what I watched, there's a lot of like drops and trades and whatever. So is it per match you get to like drop somebody, or
Mhm. Yeah, there were quite a few in season one. I guess maybe a few in season two as well. But the drafting, to my knowledge, so this is all like behind closed doors. So the players, I guess there are a couple players who, like Kyle and Michael, who are already very established, who might have had some say in like how to evenly disperse the teams. But I don't think it was like a draft, an order draft per se. They just kind of tried to like distribute players to make it as interesting or as even as possible.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of alluding to when I said that maybe they messed up and when they drafted our team because like on paper and just like what everyone thought kind of going in was like we might have been the best team just like like straight away. But who knows? Yeah, so that's how that went down.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know all of you guys, but when I see you and Kirk on paper, even at a tournament, at a PPA, I'm like, okay, that's a tough team, right? And you've shown that tournament in, tournament out, where every single tournament you play with Craig, you guys have really good wins somewhere, right? Shout out to Craig. What are your thoughts on all this paddle technology stuff, right? We already kind of covered if it's out there, spin over power. That said, is it? Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's not enough? Do you think eyewear should come into the play even more?
Yeah. I'm gonna reiterate a lot what a lot of people who don't use like an insanely poppy paddle say, which is like they don't like how poppy the paddles have gotten. And I use like a non-thermoform paddle. So it's not super poppy, and I definitely prefer the stem. I think
Yeah,
having a lot of like access to spin can let you get like lets you have the most access to creativity in the
yeah,
sport. Whereas, like for instance, against a poppy paddle, maybe I'll go for a speed up and it would be successful, and they're kind of catching it late, and they're putting it the second ball into the exact kind of spot that I want my combo to be, but it's coming in so hot that I just can't catch up to it. So
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that aspect. And then if the paddles get any poppier than they are, I think eyewear should maybe be mandatory.
Yeah.
So, but it's all hard to say. It's like a lot of gray area for sure. And I think like pro pickleball is still very much a new thing. Obviously, it's been around for a while, but you know what I mean. So, uh, these are things that are going to get figured out.
Yeah, hopefully, right? I mean, I've been saying that for a while now too, and it hasn't yet, but I am hoping that it will. In your opinion, like, what do you think the best places to train in the country are? Is it,
Yeah.
you think it's Arizona? You think it's Delray, like Florida? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Arizona, hands down. No bias whatsoever.
No, never.
Yeah. I mean, we've just got such a great group of pros who are always willing to like help out. It's like when I started, there were so many people who wanted me to just do well for whatever reason. I guess they sensed that I might be a nice guy. So yeah, I know, right? Um, and like, there's no egos whatsoever in Arizona pickleball. Like, the community is just fantastic. And then on top of that, we have like a lot of courts. So like, we still have Legacy, which we can play at, which has 41 courts, and it's like empty a lot of the times. And it's only like half an hour for most people.
Yeah.
And then there's always courts in Scottsdale, and like people with private courts in their backyard are gracious enough to let us use their courts for rec games. So shout out to all them, Brad, Jack, and Alex. And then I don't know. I've heard like Austin obviously has amazing pros there, but maybe not as much access to courts.
Yeah, good stuff out there.
Yeah. And I'm not as familiar with like the Delray, South Florida situation. I just know they have like the elite players, and they all tend to play together from what I know. So
Yeah,
it's obviously a
I
great spot as
won.
well.
Yeah, I wonder what the core situation is like out there. Because I mean, there's enough pros and stuff where the accessibility of the courts might not be a problem considering it's Florida. I did hear there's quite a bit of clickiness and quite a bit of back and forth. We don't like this person. We don't play with them, and all this bullshit that people like, go about, right? But the one thing about Arizona that I noticed, obviously you never fully know, but in also San Diego, like there's not really like any beef, right? You can come in and you can play with Cam, hating me, whoever, right? So cool, whatever. See you, deal later. That was great. And it's the times that I've gone to Arizona, it's been basically the same thing. I get treated really well. Either Chris Heddings picks me up or Craig Johnson picks me up. We go play some pickleball, we get some food. Perfect. It was great. No drama. Now that I want to start anything, so we'll keep it at that. What has I know you've been in a lot of podcasts lately. I know your stock is very high. What has your favorite been so far outside of this one? Because I know this is number one.
Yeah, this is number one. Definitely Caden and Jordan, number two. Love those guys just because I know them so well and we get to do it in person. And then I also love my time on the dink. I had never really had a conversation with Zane before, even though we played each other a couple times, but he's a really chill dude.
Yeah,
he's just cool as well.
Yeah, I like both of them. I like both of them. Yeah. Is there anything out there that you could tell maybe like amateurs, maybe people are, trying to get into the game, like maybe tip, maybe, something that you think would be really good for them to hear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for amateurs, especially if you want to get to the next level, is to kind of be able to slow the ball down at any given time. Whether that's like from the baseline, be good enough on defense to slow the ball down, put it back into the kitchen or in the midcourt. But also is to take like extreme ownership, I would say. So for instance, it's very easy to like, if your partner's missed a few balls, or maybe if you're playing open play and your partner isn't as good as you, it's so easy to just like fuck off for like the entire session and just be like, oh, my partner isn't good enough. But
that's how you go about Craig.
Yeah. Golly. No, but yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, ownership. That's it. So like, no, you can't. Sorry. Just know that anytime, like, you can always do something better, and you can always kind of be conscious of what you're doing. So, say like maybe your partner missed a dink, but you hit a ball that set up that forced error from your opponents or something. So just you can always do something better, no matter the situation.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think something that actually Zane does really well is the better your partner plays, the better you're going to do as a team, and the better you're going to do, right? So your partner is sometimes like a reflection of yourself, right? So if he or she is missing a shot and you get down on them, they're going to get down, then it's not going to get anywhere, right? So making sure that you do and try your absolute hardest to be the best partner possible, I think goes a long way, whether it's reg or a tournament or anything. Maybe it could be a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And it might look different from people, maybe if it's me, you might tell me like, dude, like step the fuck up, you're a loser. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And if it's somebody like Kid and Emot, you might want to say, hey, it's okay, bro. Like, we got this. We're all good.
That ninth dink in a row. We're still good. We're only down 10-0.
Yeah, no worries.
Today's 4-5.
Bro, you're the man. You're the man. We got No, but a real note, just figure out who you're playing with. Be nice to them. Figure out, kind of like how they communicate. Try to, make the best out of it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, who do you think, coming from being the smartest pickleball player in the world, right? We talked about being really smart, but when it comes to Keita Nemop's not the smartest guy, unfortunately. But when it comes to just pickleball specifically, do you think Ben stands at number 1 point? Do you think it could be maybe me? With those, what do you think?
Yeah, I do. I genuinely think, you DJ are like a very good student of the game. I remember we had that dinner after playing rec at Tom's with Greg and Ryan Finley, and you were breaking down how anyone has to beat the Johns really after you and Pat. And dude, Craig and I like called each other on the way back after that dinner, and we're just like, dude, DJ, like he doesn't come across as it, but like he's really a student of the game. Like he really knows pickleball, and no, like hearing like stuff from guys like you, and then actually Jaume is also a really good student of the game. Like, he does his homework. He had game plans for every single match that we played in our run. Dude, it's inspiring because like it's like pickleball is like so strategic that it's like borderline cool to be like nerdy in that regard, and like watch film on everyone and do your homework. Yeah. So that's something that I've really loved. But then probably strategically the best.
Yeah, I mean, and it shows, right? I mean, the guy, we talked about it before, the way he articulates, the way he explains everything, how he says it, like, it just goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
And when Ben says something about pickleball, you sit down and you just listen.
You have to. You can't afford not to.
Yeah. No, it goes a long way. Dude, one thing that I'm curious about, how do you handle like love relationships and pickleball together, right? 'Cause we're on the road.
Yeah.
Everything happens very fast. What has been your experience and how do you manage that?
Well, I feel like people in like the Arizona circle know that I've fumbled several bags in the pickleball community, so I tend to kind of just stay away. No, but I think a pickleball relationship can be successful if you're both like kind of mature enough and really looking for the right things and the same things. For instance, you're not wanting to date this person just because they're clout and they're good at pickleball, and like, I don't know, you want to play the mix with them or something.
And
it's like
I get that all the time.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. That's an extreme bad example that like it's not actually, I don't know anyone that's ever done that. But yeah, so if you're mature enough, like any relationship can work. Same is true at pickleball. Yeah.
I would agree with that. I got lucky. I think the best combination, if it's within pickleball, it's from own experience. It's a pro and then somebody that doesn't give a fuck about being a pro.
Yeah.
She plays, or if you're a girl, whatever you like. In my case, it's my girl. She plays pickleball. She happens to be pretty good at it, but just does not care about anything really pickleball. So I think that goes a long way, in my opinion. That way you're not like fighting over like, who's taking the middle ball and mixed doubles match. And, I got hit because you hit it really high.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well,
no, that's
nothing I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do actually. I got, really, really lucky. But yeah, bro, that's all I got for you on my side. I just want to thank my sponsors real quick. I got Stack, Body Grips, Head, Engage, and I want to open up the pod to whatever you want to talk about. If there's anything anything you want to say, mention, shout out.
Yeah, thanks, DJ. Yeah, I'll shout out my sponsors too. Shout out to Vatic, Pickleball, and Jigsaw. So I love those guys, and they have supported me along the way. I would love to ask you, DJ, like, since like you kind of had like a controversial past with like I don't know, the paddle toss and whatever, and like you've always kind of been like seen as this bad boy in pickleball. Is that something that you ever give any thought to, like what the general public kind of perceives of you, or do you just say like, fuck that, like I just am who I am?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, I'm more of a fuck that type of guy. I don't really care that much. I kind of do my own thing. I think the most important thing for me is knowing that I'm true to myself, and anyone that, at least, from my own experience, anyone that has sat down with me, anyone that has had a lunch with me, a phone call, I'm really not a bad guy. I'm a genuine, caring person. I care for people. I love people. I want people to do well. And that's the first thing I do too. Even when I lose a match, and I lost to Padle Technology recently, the first thing I do is I go for a handshake and a hug and well played, bro. Hopefully next time it's me. But yeah, no, I think if you sit down with me and actually have a conversation, like, you probably end up actually liking me. But yeah, no, I don't view myself as a bad boy at all. I don't think I do that many things on court to like piss people off either. I don't talk shit to the refs either. I'm always like really thankful that they're there. I'm always nice to them, like crack some jokes. But yeah, no, I mean, the paddle toss, obviously, it's kind of in the past by now. I know I've been more in, past times and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. People change, people grow. You want to be who you want to be, and I just choose myself every day, and I hope that takes me a long way, dude. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? You being a bad boy?
No, yeah, so bad. No, I love that. Yeah, that's honestly very on par with my experience. Like when we played that rec game at times, I was like kind of intimidated. I'm like, oh shit, DJ Young, like he might fucking go off.
Yeah,
Like,
punishment or something. You jumped in there.
yeah. And then, like I said, we got dinner and we broke it down. I'm like, dude, this guy just loves pickleball and he's like really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's honestly just awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, thanks, bro. Thanks for coming over. For anyone that didn't realize, because my editor did such a good job, we had slight technical problems. So hopefully this came out as good as it was originally to be. And yeah, thanks, bro. I really appreciated you coming over. And we're going to go get some lunch and some breakfast real quick. So let's go forward to that.
Thanks so much for having me, PJ. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.